Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Aaron Wells, and this is Wellness Chronicles. Every Monday, this is how we hang out and get down here, Promise Resource Network, um, with Wellness Chronicles. I appreciate everybody that's coming on, everybody that's going to hang out, everybody that's going to view. Thank you for taking the time on this magnificent Monday to hang out. We have some very special guests tonight, some very special neighbors who are going to come on and share conversation, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Please make sure as you come on that you are sharing this on your social media platform. Please go to the Promise Resource Network Facebook page, like that page. You'll get notices for all of our wonderful, wonderful classes and conversations. Also, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe so that we can get wellness and recovery into the homes of as many viewers that will allow us to. We are a full understanding here at Promise Resource Network that recovery and wellness is not only possible, it's probable, right? And so we get to dig in and to be able to build the recovery and wellness that we want. This is the Wellness Chronicles. These are conversations exploring injustice, how to ignite sustainable change while exploring and addressing those injustices, while embedding, right, digging in and planting wellness in marginalized communities. We spent so much time since the execution of George Floyd talking about the Black community and how that was the marginalized community that we wanted to focus and emphasize on, giving a voice to life in the Black community, life from all areas and arenas of life. We decided here at PRN to utilize this platform, our Wellness Chronicles, from the first Monday in April until the last Monday in June to specifically use this platform, Wellness Chronicles, to give a voice and to be able to show the faces of our brothers and sisters, our men and women, our kings and queens, our neighbors, our friends and family who are experiencing situations of homelessness and houselessness. For us, for me, homelessness is an injustice. It's an injustice. People have the right to housing. It's not a privilege. It's a right. And so because that right is not exercised by communities throughout, but we're specifically talking about Charlotte, but our nation in general, because those rights are not established and exercised, then we want to give a voice to the people whose rights are being denied to have homelessness, to have homes, right, who are experiencing the situations of homelessness. And so our conversations over the next 90 days, the next 3 months, are going to explore that injustice, the injustice of homelessness. But we're going to talk about that through not my voice, not your voice, but through the voices of the people who actually are experiencing that life-changing situation. Each week, we're going to have men and women who are going to come on and to share their story out of boldness. And I congratulate and salute everyone from last week all the way through to the last week in June, the last Monday in June, the people who, out of their courage to be able to open up. And one of the things that I share often, and we'll be talking with them and hearing from them in a moment, one of the things I often share is that the men and women, the children, the boys and girls, the people who experience homelessness have lives that are intruded upon more than anybody else. There are cameras around, there are stories around, people drive by, right? And they don't look into your home, but they look into tents and they look into woods and they look into situations. And it is, to me, a travesty that people have to have their lives so open. And so the fact that men and women will come on this platform to openly share what that looks like, what that is that they experience, not what you and I see, because we only see what we think we see. They see what it really is. And so they're here to share their stories. And so they're allowing us this time, right? Our intrusiveness has not really been allowed. We do it with no permission. But tonight, our brothers and sisters, my friends, they come on and they allow us a moment to look inside of their lives. And it's not just to be able to expose and to explore, but also to find solutions. And no one knows what solution would be better than the people who are experiencing it. The answers lie within the men and women who are experiencing homelessness. The solutions lie within them. And so their voices must be heard. We want their faces to be seen, right? We want this problem that we want to be invisible to go away, not to go away. And we choose for people to be uncomfortable. That's my goal anyway, for people to be uncomfortable in conversation, talking about homelessness and the solutions of homelessness. We want to bring some voices and faces to this situation. So over the next 90 days, here it is. This is what we're going to do on Wellness Chronicles. And so I want to bring my friends on. I want to bring my friends on tonight and be able to have conversation. The queen, my buddy Crystal, I've known her for a long time. We go back like rocking chairs. And my buddy Ramon, we sort of met about a week or so ago. And I just enjoyed so much conversation with this brother. I wanted to be able to bring them on and to hear the story. Hello, the two of you. How are you?
Good. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for hanging out with us on Wellness Chronicles. What we want to be able to do is to allow people a glimpse, if you don't mind, of what life is like for you. But I also would like, as we hang out over the next hour, to be able to talk about the solutions that you see that can help, right? We want to make sure that yours and other voices and faces are heard and seen by those who can enable change. But I also want to make sure that community hears, because we often think that it's the government's job to change everything, but there's a reality. My good brother and my good sister, my king and queen, you are our neighbors. And it is community's responsibility also to stick in and to figure this out together. So thank you so much. Crystal, I want to start with you, if you don't mind, and we're going to just have dialogue and just chit chat a little bit over the next hour. So Crystal, for you, I want to start with this. The question for you would be, how many times in your adulthood, how many times have you experienced homelessness?
On and around about 15 years.
Okay. And Ramon, we talked earlier, so you're a little bit short of that, but it's been a while. How long, good brother, how long have you been experiencing the situation of homelessness?
Well, my recent span of homelessness has been in Charlotte, has been since November of last year until now.
Okay. And so prior to that, you had some situations in California and Texas.
Yeah. Okay. I've been traveling for a couple of years, and I've had experiences with, well, first of all, before I go forward, the term homeless is a term I do not like to use to apply to myself and my situation or to anyone else's. Okay. The word itself is kind of like hopeless.
Yeah.
It represents a finality of one's situation. You don't have a home, you're not going to have it. It's like hopeless. You either have hope or you're hopeless.
Gotcha.
So instead of using the term homeless to describe these people in the situation, I'd say residentially displaced. I'm between residences. And it also just, when you refer to someone as residentially displaced, it still refers to them as a neighbor, as a resident. So it's like still a way to include them into your society and still see them as part of the community. So a lot of people with dealing with situations and being residentially displaced feel outside of society, and that fuels the continuous cycle of being residentially displaced and displacement in society and in their own lives in this world.
And that's to also add to you also, one of my terms that I used a while back was, I'm not homeless, I'm just an urban camper.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying?
Say that again, Crystal.
I'm just an urban camper.
And see, this is why your voice has to be heard. right? This is why your voice has to be heard, and that everyone needs to understand that you and I have the right, we have the right to define ourselves. We have the right to define our situation. We have the right to be able to move those stigma and those terms that create trauma, right? And you mentioned it. Our friend Deb over at Block Love, she always says that people aren't homeless, they're houseless, because we had homes. That was a home, even though someone may not consider that was a home. And so again, I thank you both, because this is what community needs. We need to be able to have the conversations that allows the people who are experiencing the situation to be able to have the voices. And I guess part of it is, let's start calling it something different, right, Ramon? Let's start calling it something different so we can see it differently. Is that not right?
Yes, and live and experience it differently. Also, the way I think about it sometimes is, if you really think about basically and simplistically, the entire planet Earth functions as home for all humanity. When you even say homeless, it's like you're telling people they do not have a space on this planet. No one has the right to categorize that for any other person. And it's just like, once people start acting like out of character, above what people should treat others, even by just saying, just calling them something that's like, you don't live on this planet, you don't have a home, it's just like taking away someone's humanity. Even whether you realize it or not, it needs to stop. It's bring to just that's homelessness, that's robbing someone of their humanity just by putting that label on them.
So what we want to be able to do. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just the feeling of being home is just like people in while they're residentially displaced or urban camping have so many issues to deal with, safety issues to deal with, and just the word home just provides an individual with feeling safe. Home is represents safe. It's like, I'm going home. You feel better, relaxed. You have a safe place. So you don't want to take away that feeling of being safe on the planet Earth from someone just by calling them homeless. It's stuff like that impacts people's emotional levels so traumatically that people don't realize. And no one really just like, how come so many homeless people feel depressed? Well, because you basically tell them they don't have a place on the planet, so they don't feel safe anywhere on planet Earth, and they deal with that every day throughout the stuff they're dealing with. But a lot of people in their business, they just don't feel safe. It just be out of sheer word usage and definition, and that doesn't have to happen.
So we got to work on those definitions. I thank you. This is great conversation. Crystal, I want to have you jump in for a moment. Down at Tent City. What was, give us a brief about what life looked like in Tent City for you, what you experienced and what you saw, just in general, right? What was life like for you there? And we'll talk about the abatement in a minute.
Life in Tent City for me was rough, but I also know I'm a fighter and I'm a survivor, so I can survive anything. The one thing that got me the most was all the rain, because where I was camped at, it was muddy. It stayed muddy. And I like all the people that came through that gave us what they could and helped us when they could. But then sometimes people took advantage of what was given to them, or they were trying to use something to get somewhere else. And I saw a lot of stuff, but I didn't say nothing because that was not my place. But the one company I'm going to say I think the most for right now is Heartbeats One. Those are my go-to people that I can talk to. I can basically, anything I need, give us a call. We'll see what we can do for you. And that's my true group of people that I can call and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me out?
You are a fighter. I can personally attest to that, having known you for as long as I have. So did you ever, and I'm thinking about what my brother just said. So did you ever, during that period of time there, after all of your experiences, was there ever a time where it just didn't seem like there was going to be light at the end of the tunnel? Was there ever a time when it just seemed like this is it? This is as far as I'm going to be able to take this thing. Talk to us about that, if you don't mind.
That's what it felt like just about most every day. I'd go to Urban every day. I do what I had to do. And by the time I got back to the tent, I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. I got to keep my eyes and my ears open all the time because I don't know if somebody's going to try and break into the tent or they're going to come hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Because I never know who's walking through wherever we work. And that's the one point that I could not get out of my mind. With my mental illness also, that wasn't helping none. Because all it did was build up my mental illness that I was ready to fight or try and hurt somebody that I didn't need to do. And what a lot of people don't understand is they don't know what we go through until they walk in our shoes, till they eat what we eat, they live how we live. Because you got to remember, everybody's only one paycheck away from being jobless or homeless or urban camper as we speak. Always one paycheck away, because you never know what's going to happen.
Thank you. Good brother, the same thing. So, Ramon, when you were down in Sin City, was there ever a time when you walked out, you were just sort of, you just took a view of the horizon and landscape? Did you ever give up hope? And if not, what kept you going? And if so, what sort of re-inspired you? What sort of got you back that this something, I can make something out of this?
Well, myself, I was never hopeless. Just like I was never homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always feel like for whatever reason, regardless of whatever the circumstances are going on that got me there, I just have a feeling, and this is just my spiritual belief, that I'm always in the right place at the right time, even if I don't even know what it is. I just have to trust God and go with it. Mm-hmm. That also helped me deal with, like I say, some of my anxiety issues. When I may have felt unsafe, I mean, don't get me wrong, I had something with me, but then at the same time, I prayed I wouldn't have to use it, and I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But it's just stuff like that. Also, over the years, as I've talked to people, people talk to me and say, I tend to encourage them or along the way. I just do. I don't know what exactly I'll be saying when it does. Well, being out there also gave me the opportunity to meet and start talking to some of the other people. And when I'm talking to them and they share their feelings of depression, dealing with their mental illness, their anxiety, their fears, lack of a vision for a better future for themselves, well, having the opportunity to hear them, you know what I'm saying, and encourage them to not give up also kept me going. Because just because I can keep going doesn't mean I should just be ready to leave behind those who are right there still struggling with me. That keeps me going. And I have to keep going to help them keep going. And to show them that if I can do it and I'm right here, if I can stay hopeful and believe that a positive outcome comes, and I'm right here with you, I'm no better than you. We're on the same couch. Mm-hmm. We're in the same campground. I can be just as hopeful as you can. Mm-hmm. I can do it. You can do it too. Exactly. I ain't no better than you. Ain't no better than me. We out here together. Better than nobody else. So part of that kept me going. Just like if my presence helps them, just seeing me just not give up, helps them like, okay, well, he ain't gave up. I don't have to give up either. It works. So that's personally helped me go forward. And just knowing that, like, for instance, some people have a harder time dealing with stuff. If I come across some information that helps somebody and just being there to share it, that's just what does it for me. You know what I'm saying? And yes.
No, you go ahead, brother. I was going to come in and ask you a question.
I was going to start rambling. Seriously, go ahead.
No, you're doing absolutely fine. Trust me on that. So, Crystal, I'm going to stay at Tent City for a minute. Then we're going to talk about the news when they came and said, okay, everybody's moving. So, from what I hear and what I've and through previous conversations, there was a sense of community there. Mm-hmm. There was a sense of community where we just heard that people more than not looked out for one another, helped each other get through. What kind of things did you see, Crystal, from that sense of community? We know that there's some other things out there. What about the sense of community? What did you see where people were sort of inspiring, building, making sure that each other was okay? What was your experience with that?
Well, I do know this much. Where I was based at, in our little community, we were kind of in the quiet zone. We didn't allow loud racket, loud noise, nothing. That was all further down from us. We looked out for each other. We asked how everybody was doing. You got this, you need this. What can we trade for this? Or do you need something while I'm gone? That's how we did things. But also, even when I was at Herb, I had a little crew of people that always said, hey, what's up? I was like big sister to them. I always knocked some sense into them, or I was trying to talk them through this. I was kind of like somebody that they could talk to if they needed to. Because I've been here, I've done it, and I'm doing it again. But then I also realized too that this go round is only making me stronger, because whenever I write, whatever I say is going to be somebody's guidepost to say, okay, well, this is what we need to, maybe this will help them. Just like he said, if we help and communicate with each other by sharing knowledge and sharing information, we're going to be okay.
I want to say hello to, thank you for that, Crystal. I want to say hello to Darlene and Ruth. They're on. I know oftentimes people come on and don't chime in. If you do, please chime in. Let us know you're here, and make sure that you are sharing on your platform these conversations, very important conversations. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And so the news comes, right? The news comes. We got 72 hours, I think it was, that we're going to shut this thing down. Crystal, I want to start with you, and then I'm going to come through with my brother Ramon. When you heard the news that we shutting this thing down, we shutting Tent City down, what kind of feelings, how did you process that?
I don't even think I processed anything. All I know is it was like a mystery. You go to certain people, but they don't have any answers to what you need to know. So you had to talk to everybody else to find out who to go to. The one person you thought was your worker, or your counselor, case manager, whatever, well, we don't know anything. We're all in meetings, so we can't tell you anything. Okay, then who do I need to talk to? I don't know. So I finally figured out who to talk to, and that's Heartbeats One, another nonprofit organization. They said, okay, look, this is what we know. Sign up with us. We'll make sure you get what you need. We can't reveal any other information to you. Just sign up. We'll get your process. We'll get you there. We'll do everything else we got to do. And that was a good thing, because they did it the right way. They didn't leave us hanging saying, well, we don't know. They got in, figured it out, got done with the paperwork. We good to go.
Ramon, thank you, Crystal. What was it like for you when you got the news? Okay, here we go again. We're shutting this down, and we're moving. What was that like for you? Did you receive information? Was it a shock? How did you adjust to the news that it was time to shut that down?
First off, I was born and raised in Charlotte. So just seeing Tent City here, it was just a surprise. However, upon hearing something like Tent City is shut down, to me, that statement itself doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. For instance, if it's an open land and people who are residentially displaced are just living there, there's no organization to shut down. It's not an entity. Mm-hmm. So it's not anything being shut down. So it's like, that's how, that's how the statement, the word used to just throw me. So I didn't really understand the concept was like how, it's like, what's really going on? It's just like, are you helping people? If you're helping people, you're just helping people. But to make a big deal, like you're shutting something down, it's like, what did you think was there? What was the concept or your understanding of the situation? So my understanding was just like, look, people out here, they're struggling, ain't got no place to stay, and the conditions are, it's outside, so you can't be outside without normal, rational concept that animals are out there too. So animals, lion, tigers, and bears, you know what I'm saying, out there. So people outside and deal with the elements. So they expect that. And if you're helping the people, it's just helping the people. So hearing it shut down, it was just more like, okay, well, now they finally decided to help these people who needed help that they were sitting there watching and need help all this time for however long they were there. It's like, okay, that's how I understood. It's like, okay, I'm out here in this tent getting rained on. The rats is not, they wouldn't bite me, but I see them bite other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not keeping them away. But I'm sitting there watching them do all the stuff, and now you decide to help them. That's how I took the situation. It's like, okay, I think, okay, I appreciate it. I didn't understand to me, it seemed like the delay. Personally, if I had the ability and authority to help the people, I would have made more of an effort to help the people during October, November, December, when it's really cold and raining out there. So I just kind of was like, okay, it's all of a sudden it's a big deal now, but these people out there when it was really, really cold, but thank you anyway. So I didn't really see us as a really issue. Just thank you for helping whenever you help,
But I also think too, one of the things that they could have looked out more for us is when it rains and we've got tents on the ground, we kind of sinking, or our stuff is getting really, really wet. So we're having to throw away more stuff than we can actually keep.
I'm going to add one thing.
Go ahead.
Also, here's something, and I thought about this as well. And it plays into the point I was making about the timing. Think about it. It was COVID. It was cold outside. You know what I'm saying? Winter. Charlotte, it rains in the winter. Nobody's outside doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Well, so if nobody's outside doing nothing, people aren't driving by, they don't see it. It's easy to ignore it physically. Now, the weather's getting nicer. People want to come out downtown, walking around more. Those people are in the way. So it's like the timing of it fits with, okay, now the weather's nice, move them out just because it's nice. As opposed to, well, they really need help, because if it was more about how urgent people needed the help, the urgency and the dire circumstances existed in a far greater impact and dangerous to people's survival in December. Everybody knows that's just wintertime. It kind of like, we just want to make it look nice for the springtime. And it worked. That's
So,
about it.
But also, too, when you throw it to us in 72 hours, you're not giving nobody enough chance to say, okay, well, let's sit down. This is how we need to handle this. What can we do to maintain, to see who all's in the emergency shelter, who's all in Tent City? Because when you combine them both together, something's not fitting. You throw things at us and expect us to jump when you say jump. But we're sitting here looking at you like, well, where are we jumping to?
A big change and very little time to adjust.
Exactly.
The thing about it is, even with the 10 cities and other areas of town and people in different locations with homeless, is like we're saying, the communities. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, just think about it in societies, for instance, in neighborhoods. Like some people, based on their attitudes, whatever, fit in, get along with their neighbors over here better than others for whatever reason. And that's understandable. But then when you start putting people together, it's like, okay, now imagine a situation where you knew somebody saw them out there in the street. Okay, you knew they used to be your neighbor, but they had to move because y'all didn't get along. But then all of a sudden you're back in each other's faces just like that rapidly, without even having the time to adjust yourself mentally to change the circumstances. So it's issues like that. I mean, I've heard of plenty of people have had altercations, not getting along with their roommate issues. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just communications with people, and that's the thing. And it could have been more kind of time to kind of address those issues. However, one thing I'm not clear, and I did not investigate either, was how much time did it take to plan the whole thing anyway? Was it a plan that the people were working on since sometime last year? Or how long did it take? Like, how many meetings? It's like, did it start, okay, we're going to have a meeting February 3rd and then do it by the end of the month, or was it a thing people were building up for months? I don't know, and it's not to be overly critical of the situation. You know what I'm saying? You should never look a gift horse in the mouth. Ain't that what it's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It might turn around and kick you. You know what I'm saying? But while you're not riding the horse and just being thankful you got to ride to get where to your next spot.
But the one thing I do remember through conversation, reading, Googling all this, they didn't even have that much time. Oh, yeah. It was just everybody was thrown into it. And by the time that we officially got word, the city just got word too.
It was already happening. And that is a good thing that the people, when they decided to address the issue, they worked together rapidly. They said, we're going to do it and we're not going to prolong it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that because, you know, it's just like when stuff goes to Congress, we're going to have a bill passed in and be like, 2 years later, and they just vote on it. They've been sitting around talking about debating, dragging their feet the whole time.
But to be honest, we still need a little bit more time because when you come and say 72 hours, we having to go pack everything, trying to figure out what's going with us because we were only allowed but so much. And I know I just got my 2 totes from my site last weekend. That was in storage, and I'm glad. But it's still not enough. When are we going to be able to say, hey, this is what we need? Clothing, shoes, bath stuff, whatever you guys can give, we need. Food, snacks, we need. We're thankful for what we get, don't get me wrong, but a lot of stuff, a lot of us cannot eat. And I guess my point to say this much is when we say something, it goes through somebody's ear and out the other ear. And I feel like some of us are not being heard when we say we can't eat this or we can't do this. And what somebody pointed out to me was counseling is just a wraparound session. You go from one person, send you somewhere else, but that person still don't understand what you need or they can't help you in that situation. Who can we turn to? Who can we talk to say, hey, look, this is what I'm going through. This is what I need.
Like more emotional support.
That,
yeah, it's like for instance, like you're saying, it's like when we're dealing with stuff, it's just to at least deal with, process your feelings so you don't have the pressure keeping it to yourself while you're dealing with, while you're sorting it out. Yes. It's like anxiety. At least that can help you gather your thoughts and relax around the situation and deal with the patience necessary to deal with the different people, to make that run around. Okay, I need somebody to talk to on Monday, so then I'll be ready when I go have to talk to these 4 different people on Tuesday. Stuff like that will help, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I am loving this conversation. I'm so grateful that the 2 of you just chose to hang out. I have a couple of questions I want to ask, but I would want to again say hello to Ruth and Darlene. My buddy Kim Porter is on. Say yo to them. Joe is on. He says he loves both of you. You know, Joe is your HB1 guy. And Joe is saying he loves both of you. And Brian Long is on. Hello, Brian. Thank you for hanging out. So listen, Crystal, I'm hearing you very clear. Ramon, I'm hearing you very clear. So the move happened. The 72 hours happened. And then the adjustment was made. We talked about some of the things that's needed. Without giving location, because we know we can't do that, what type of things are in place that you're like, all right, thank you for this? And what type of things are not in place that people are saying, look, can y'all help us with that? Good brother, I want to start with you first. What are some of the things that are in place right now that have been a blessing, those things that have helped with that adjustment from one location to another? However, added to that, what are some of the things that you would hope would be in place that would help move life along for you? All right.
Well, I would like to say thank you for the recent workshops that we had, the pottery workshop and the drum circle workshops.
Gotcha.
Those were like activities where we can like We don't have to sit up in a room or feel like captive, and just like stuff to like just be a person, just activities. Because like really, just like sitting in a box, just watching TV all day, that's just kind of like sitting in a tent looking at your phone all day. It's like the quality of existence. Even opportunities like support groups, like just activities. Like for instance, there are like community activities. Where communities should be activities where we can communicate, fellowship with each other as a community. Because the thing about it is, where we are now is not the end of the road. We should still be engaging in ways to be a part of communities when we leave here. We're not going to possibly not be around the same people. So the communication skills, getting used to just, hello neighbor, how you doing today? Mm-hmm. And being responsive with those types of things are part to be comfortable just in the world. So we get those through activities with each other. So stuff like that to bring us together, those will help.
Okay. Christian?
Well, actually, I was like, the DSS does come out there, so we can get our food stamps, our Medicaid, whatever we need. They're there once, maybe twice, 3 times a week, depending on their schedule. And that does help a lot. But like you said, and I do agree with him, we need more activities, because sitting in the room all day between TV and phone is not healthy.
Like exercise groups, like bicycling groups, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that.
Stuff to keep us, hey, we're on the track, we're on a journey. What can we do next? Where do we go? This is only a stepping stone for us. Mm-hmm. When we get our housing, we're going to do, and I know me personally, I'm going to do everything I can in my word of faith and survival to keep it for the rest of the time that I'm on this earth. Because what people don't understand is you look at us, you stick your nose up at us like, ugh, why are they even like this? We didn't ask to be urban campers, residential displaced. We didn't ask for this. We didn't ask to be jobless. It just fell our way. So what I think people should understand is, hey, we're all human beings. Mm-hmm. We need people to talk to. We need understanding to say, okay, well, where can we go next? Because a lot of times, a lot of us can't afford the health insurance, much less anything else. So if one of us gets very, very sick, what are we supposed to do? We can't pay a doctor bill. And the doctors that we do have, unless you find the right doctor that's going to sit down and tell you everything.
That's another runaround.
You're not always going to get the right one. Mm-hmm. So, and even for my mental health, I'm doing the best I can for what I have. But I still need somebody I can call up and say, hey, look, I'm having an issue. I can't handle it. Where can I go? I don't want to go to mental health lockup. I just need somebody to talk to.
Like a regular therapist.
Exactly. But nobody wants to volunteer their time. Or if you don't have Medicaid, they're probably not going to accept you. So what are we looking at? Where do we go from here?
So let me ask you this, and thank you for that. Thank you so very much. You're just expressing and painting the picture that people need to be able to see to have a better understanding of what our brothers and sisters, our neighbors go through on a daily basis. So where we are now, like physically, right? Where we are now, where we come in and we hang out. Is there any communication about how long? Is there any communication about what next, right? Is there any communication about what this part of the process looks like? The 72 hours came, we moved from one location to another. Now we're at another location. You've got real lives to live. You have dreams and hope and aspirations. Anybody having conversations with you about what the next is? I'm gonna start with you, Crystal. Go ahead. Then we'll come with Ramon.
The conversation that I've had is I got accepted for housing through one set of people. Now, I turned in my application, did everything I had to do. I got got into the next set. Now all it is the waiting game because they're backed up on their end because of trying to find housing for everybody. But what's going to happen come, say, June when this program is supposedly over? Where are we supposed to be? We can't go back. Y'all want to go put us back out in tents out there? Where are we supposed to go? Who's going to pay all this? Y'all say we have housing, but you set a deadline for this. You can't set a deadline unless you look at the big picture. Most people do not look at the big picture. We're humans. We all have rights, but you treat us like we don't exist. If you treat us like exactly. If you treat us like human beings, you'd say, okay, well, what can we do in place of this? Where do we go next? What volunteer work can we do to help you guys out? We don't ask, I know myself, and I'm not sure, and I'm sure you don't ask for much. Most of us don't ask for much. We just ask for help. But the help that we're getting, see how long you sit there and twiddle your thumbs.
I really love the way you put that, and I'm gonna steal it. So when you hear it again, pretend like I invented it and not you. You know, we don't ask for much. We just ask for help. I love that. Matter of fact, I don't want to take a slogan and make it a T-shirt and a hoodie in a minute, and you will see that. You will see that again. Good brother, help us out, Ramon. What, from your perspective, the same thing? Have you had communication? Is anybody telling you what is on the other end of this? What is the light at the end of the tunnel? What are you hearing as far as what is going to result from what's happening right now?
Personally, I myself, I know the people, the support staff are there to answer those questions. I see people talking to them all the time, and different people have told me different things regarding their own individual paths to their next residence, where they stand. I myself, I've just been like, I haven't been asking. I mean, just like, because honestly, I just kind of think, worst case scenario, they did 72 hours, they put us in there, they could show up 24 hours now with some keys. They could show up out the blue, just like this place showed up out the blue. It could, and then I'll go from there. I mean, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't have to see the light at the end of the tunnel to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and believe that I'm going to get there. Mm-hmm. The time it takes doesn't really matter. If I'm in a dark tunnel, I can't see my watch anyway. I'm not in the rush. Having the time to be at peace, you know what I'm saying? I've been enjoying it. And I'm confident that whenever suppose it's like comes to urgent, or if like having all your information in the system being updated on what you need to done, your paperwork, when it process it, it'll process it, I'll be notified. However, consider the workers. They're doing whatever they can, a lot of them volunteering. It's just people just putting pressure on what's going on with my stuff, what's going on with my stuff every day. You know, people, that can be stressful for them. You know, we got to just believe the trust that it's working, and it works, it will work, and the time it takes for it isn't up to us, it isn't up to them, but it will. And we have to trust it. And just because we're under individual pressure ourselves, that's not a reasonable excuse to just put pressure on someone else because we can. Like, okay, I know this is stressful for me, but you work here helping me. I know you're stressed out too. Mm-hmm. And just it's like having that in mind, it's like, oh, I can take a break, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't have to ask me every day. I may ask once a week, but really asking once a week, if it's still a deadline, and I say a tentative deadline on the situation, there's no real rush anyway. Just make sure, is there anything you need to do? Just do, if you have all your ducks in a row, they're going to go where they're supposed to go together anyway. So make sure you have, whenever it's time to go, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So having my own stuff in order, and it's like people have been looking for jobs and working, getting their IDs and stuff. They've been getting that stuff in order anyway. So it'll be ready for them to go. So occupying your time handling your own personal business in the meantime does give me something to do. So I'm working on it and allowing the system to work without like stressing it. So that's how I think about it. But the door is always open for us to inquire. It's never a moment where you can just, no one's there to answer your question. But we have to just be respectful of the circumstance for all of us. And a lot of times you're not going to get an answer to your question just because you ask it right then and right now. It's all about patience. And we have to just be confident in that, and just trusting the system to work. I don't feel that people were relocated just to get abandoned again. To me, that just doesn't make sense. Now, applying that concept to the situation, I can relax and be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just go they moved from the tent. Okay, they can put me back in the tent. They're going to give me another tent. Okay, I can survive in the tent. But it really wouldn't make sense to do that. Just to do that would be a waste of all the time, energy, and effort of all of the people, volunteers. It would just be a waste of energy. And that is just like wasting energy into meaningless endeavors that just like waste time. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
Crystal, I want to ask, thank you, good brother. Crystal, I want to ask you this. So we know that housing is the greatest need. And so then for those who can and will, employment is the next great need. What are some other needs? I heard you mention, both of you talk about mental health, and our people just have been through a lot. This is traumatic. It is traumatic, and it creates traumas in and of itself, and it brings back traumas, just the situations itself. So Crystal, we know housing, we know employment.
Oh, pardon the interruption. I want to say one thing first.
Please do.
First off, because a lot of people have issues like mentally health, we shouldn't classify or put the stereotype or stigma that everyone who is residentially displaced has mental issues. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of sane, intelligent, educated people who are just having a hard time. Mm-hmm. Like, just because you're residentially displaced, you're an urban camper, you're crazy. Yeah, that's how a lot of people.
Right, but I don't.
It's a real thing, but
right.
Yeah,
I don't need to imply.
No, I know, but I don't want somebody just to put that label on you. Right. But because you make it an issue, it's a real thing. I mean, I would talk to a counselor, but don't automatically assume that I'm just crazy, because then you won't listen to what I'm saying. I could be talking to you like, oh, they just crazy, okay, because when you know somebody crazy got issues, you know not to listen to them. But if you already have a conception that, I'm just mental. Okay, well, what about my next door neighbor who is sane, educated, and they could tell you the stuff, but you won't listen to them because you just like assuming they don't know what they're talking about. That's one thing we don't need to do either. You know what I'm saying? And I think that happens as well without people realizing, or it's like, it's something wrong. They a drug addict. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't on drugs. Well, but at the same time, you really think about it, everybody is on drugs, caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, everybody on some other drug, but you want to criminalize and stigmatize somebody because they don't use the drug that you use that you're okay with.
So you're talking about those blanket stigmas that people just take a whole blanket of stigmas and put it over a whole community.
And then they dismiss them as people. You know what I'm saying? They dismiss the issues. Because, for instance, I'm around people who use drugs all day. I will sit right beside somebody smoking crack that use my lighter. I'm not even smoking a cigarette. You drive by, you can see them smoking crack. Are you gonna look at me like I'm a crackhead? You see what I'm saying? Just because I'm sitting right next to him? And let alone, if I like pick up the vibe that you're just like being like condemning a friend of mine just for being different from you, just like putting them down. It's like, how am I supposed to feel? Like that, you treat my friend bad for no reason. Mm-hmm.
I like that conversation.
The ones who want to be in your face swear they're helping. You know what I'm saying? But there's just a bunch of crackheads out there, and it's like, okay, You know what I'm saying? You don't know I went to college and stuff, and at the same time, I don't smoke crack. When I'm out there, so you calling me a crackhead too. You don't even know me, but I'm supposed to trust you to really help. That's a little suspicious if you have a brain to think about it, and I do. So you know what I'm saying. But anyway, it's just like stuff like that even adds to the mental stress on people.
Okay.
And without people to even have the opportunity to just like sit and decompress, like, you know what, like, can you imagine you can see the look in people's, let me put it just perspective from my own personal life. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, from Batesford Road, University Park area. And that area is notorious for many things. Now, moving around in the city, just contacting people, so people ask, where are you from? What side of town you from? All right. Well, there's this thing called the Batesford Road face. That's like, this is a face that people made when you told them you were from Batesford Road. It was kind of like, it seems like, you ask me like where I'm from. You say, where are you from? Say Batesford Road.
Batesford Road. Mm-hmm.
Just like it's like you see it. You know what I'm saying? Whether people realize they're doing it or not, it's, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Now, imagine that you just getting I mean, that's a real thing. You got somebody grew up in Batesford Road, Batesford Road face. They know it, they seen it, and then at the same time you see somebody's face, you like, they look at you like that for no reason, don't even know you. Already, it's some shit. You smell it. You know what I'm saying? But people are just treated like that just because you see on the road. It's like you feel that every like 1,000 cars could ride by in one day with 2 people in the car, and every one of them look at you like that. You have to deal like, damn, you don't know people ain't deal with the interaction, but you see people looking at you with disgust for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Ramon, I want to get Crystal in for a minute, but I'm flowing with you. I'm flowing with you, but I want to get Crystal in for a moment on this. So, besides food and besides employment, what are some of the needs that you see? And I heard you very well, good brother. That stigma, just this blanket, this community, everybody is this. Everybody, carb. Everybody is this. Everybody is that. What are some of the needs that you see, Crystal?
Well, I know for me personally, I know I've tried it before, is applying for disability. I don't have a person that I can actually have somebody sit down with me, go over the paperwork, go over the information that I need to submit in order to get this stuff started. And a lot of times, for myself, and I don't know about anybody else, I sometimes have a hard time of understanding what questions are being asked. So I have to keep asking over and over again, what are you talking about? And I know I get that look of, why do you keep asking? Don't you understand what I'm saying? Not always. But like I also said, the mental health issue too. I'm not saying that everybody has it, but just the 72 hours to the moves to the, okay, we're done. The rules, the regulations we abide by, the stuff that we see every day, the noise, everything that we're hearing is like, okay, well, I need to decompress. But if I decompress and I go outside, it's all built back up. How can we stay maintaining our peace and our sanity from where we are to where we're going?
Especially with no activities.
Exactly.
So I want to say this. I want to say hello to my guy Cedric, who's on, and Ced, thank you for hanging in. Please, everybody that's on, make sure you share the conversation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get these conversations into the homes. We're going to start getting ready to put the plane in the hangar. It's going to take a minute, but we're going to get the plane in the hangar. I just want to thank both of you for coming on. I just have enjoyed this so much. So I want to start with you, good brother. Solutions. I know what Crystal's got a solution. Crystal has something that she has a plan. She has something that she thinks will work, and I concur with her. for you, if there was a thing, and it might not be out of it all, right? It might not be the thing that solves everything, but if there were one thing you could do today to begin to help solve, to help move forward this residential displacement of our neighbors, what would it be?
Be honest.
Talk to me about that.
All right. One thing is being honest, the truth about, for one, honest with myself, about myself, and my management of the situation, accountability for myself. The truth about the process, like knowing the truth, it's not a quick fix and everything, and then trusting the truth of the intent of the people to help. Also, the people working, if you truly want to help, you will help. It truly may take longer than expected, but it will honestly get done. And to believe in that. And then just going forward and accepting the true circumstances that you have to deal with as part of the process as they are. And that also just revolves honesty and transparency between all the different organizations and agencies involved in the process throughout the whole community. There should be a reason why these people over here who are working with the people over there to get somebody over somewhere else to not know what they're doing. Like, how come you don't know what the people helping you do? Why don't you know? Why wouldn't they tell you? Mm-hmm. Why would they not want to tell you? Even having that feeling that you wouldn't want to is like, why would, you shouldn't have nothing to hide. We're dealing with people who are living with their entire life exposed to the world. Their truth was out there, truth had nothing to hide. So to respect their truth, which they were given, due to circumstances of their existence, sharing their truth, your truth with them. Be honest, we're the same, That is essential.
All right. Thank you, good brother.
And that's a simple one thing, Just be honest, and everything else will fall in place. Also be honest with yourself. It's like how far you want to go. Everything isn't meant for everyone to do. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you get overwhelmed, like, look, I done bit off more than I can chew, so I'm gonna stop eating. And that's fine. And if anyone feels like that, no one has a right to honestly make anyone feel some type of way for that.
Okay.
So you can't. So that pressure and that truth needs to be dealt with as well, and everything will be all right.
Okay.
That's how I go. True faith.
I'm gonna bring Crystal in for time's sake. I appreciate that, good brother. Crystal, if you could, obviously not a thing can help this large problem, but a thing can help get us towards solutions. What would be a thing? What would be the thing you would do if you could do it today as a solution to help eradicate and move us out of residential displacement? I love that term. That's my new term. I'm taking it, Ramon. Go ahead, Crystal.
Asking people that already have homes, already drive wonderful, beautiful cars, got money, got credit cards, step out your comfort zone. Come see what we do. Come live in our shoes. Because the one thing I do not like about people is I feel you, I know what you're going through. No, you don't. Because you haven't walked in our shoes.
At least be honest with the understanding that they don't.
Exactly.
But don't be like, we understand, we don't. It's okay to admit that.
But also to try and help advocate for all of us. How can we advocate for each other when we understand that people are not listening, even though they say they is, but they're not? How do we advocate for all of us?
a regular person and speak the truth about other regular people. You know, those people, these, you know what I'm saying? When talking to other people, like say if I was going to a dinner party and then stuff come on the news, I can speak the truth. Like maybe we could do something within ourselves. That's just even an honest way to think about addressing with people, and that helps, you know.
But also, like I said, I would like to see government officials step out of their comfort zone, step into our shoes, and try to survive where we are. We don't ask for much, but we're thankful for what we do get. We're thankful for the housing that we do have, even though it may be temporary. But when the temporary runs out, what you gonna do next?
I just thought something. Man, and Jay, here's what I was saying. Think about this. A lot of people may end up residential displaced due to evictions, foreclosure, or something. At that moment that legal documents of private paperwork is being processed, it is known that they're not going to have residence. Okay, why can't there be some safety net or some housing program? Okay, you're getting evicted, you go stay over here until you find another apartment, so you don't have to live in the street in the first place. You catch them before they hit the street, then they won't be on the street. Think about it, like for instance, these people, as we were relocated from Tent City to a place, if we talk to someone to relocate so we didn't have Tent City, to put us in the same place we're in now, we would skip the step. And that's a process because it's getting foreclosed eviction is legal documents saying you're in, put out. They're enforced by the police. The police gonna throw you on the curb. They could take you to another shelter or somewhere to stay. You know what I'm saying?
But also remember there's one thing, and I've noticed this throughout my years here. And I'm sorry to say this, and I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, so don't hurt me for this one. All I see is the city of Charlotte won't just know what's coming in. All they care about is the green, the jobs, the condos, the townhouses.
It's the whole country.
What about us?
It's the whole country.
We are humans. When are you going to start putting what you want towards us? We may not be high class society. We may be low class, middle class, or scums.
Don't even view yourself like that.
No, I'm not low class, middle class, however you want to call it. But I'm still a queen. I'm still here. I'm still a human. Show me. What can you do to help me? I don't ask unless I definitely need it. But now I'm coming forward and I'm asking for your help. I'm calling out for everybody that is in the situation that I'm in, asking for your help. Come on now, guys. Bring out your wallets. Bring out your checkbooks. Bring out the money. Show us that you care enough about us, or at least you want to help us to provide us with something. We all are human beings. We all deserve to be treated like brothers and sisters. We may not be the same from the same family, but we run the same color of blood, red. We breathe the same air. Come on, open it up. Say, look, I'm calling you out. Help us to help ourselves.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Ramon. I want to thank you.
All right.
It's also up for me. I got you, but go ahead, brother.
Now, I just had a thought. Now, think about this. If someone jumps off a building downtown, hits the concrete, leave a splatter of blood, right? Well, if someone's up on the ledge, before they jump, we put the mat or safety net and catch them before they hit the ground. Either way it goes, the street is going to be clean before Spring Fest or the Christmas parade. So why wait to have the splatter of blood to clean it up? The person was up there on the ledge jumping off either way. You didn't have to let them hit the ground. And that's the honest truth about it. And that's why we have to look at ourselves and know that's true. It's like, I didn't have to, like, systematically, we don't have to throw the people on the curb when they get evicted. You know what I'm saying? But we are part of the system, and we did that. Honestly, that's just the truth. But we didn't have to. So it's like, do people really have to fall dead in the street before you want to help when you could have called them. And the thing is, it's like, if you constantly aware, it's like, oh, I'm letting people fall dead in the street. If that's what you do, that's what you do. Own it. But then don't turn around and be like, oh, now we got to do something. It's a big deal now than it was yesterday when 5 people hit the street. You're comfortable then. Don't act like it's uncomfortable now if it's a real thing.
I appreciate it, man.
So it's like that. And then think about it, if you catch the person before they hit the street, you won't have to spend time cleaning up that mess. Nobody wants to see that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna go take a picture of a splatter on the street. You know what I'm saying? But I might take a picture of them catching somebody on the net. You know what I'm saying? And then we can catch them on the net. I show them a picture when I was talking to them at the parade. We standing, oh, I got this picture of you. You remember when you jumped off that building? I seen you. You know what I'm saying? At the dinner party.
All right. I appreciate that. We gotta wind it up on that one. That's the one that puts the plane in the hangar. But I want to tell you both, thank you so very, very thank you both so very much. Your conversation with each other, to be able to talk and to allow others into what you see and what you experience. I just really appreciate it, and thank you for coming on. We're going to continue these conversations every Monday. We're going to keep making sure that voices and faces are heard, and not of the homeless and the houseless, but of those who are residential. What's the term, Ramon?
Residentially displaced. And
Residentially.
I have one more thing.
You always got one more thing. Come on now.
Yeah, I got plenty of shit. All right. And you made me lose it. You talking about great. I can see now too. I'm old. But the reason why our conversation worked is because we see each other as part of the community.
Absolutely.
We can communicate. That's one thing that Tent City helped people do. We were out there with each other. We respected types of people who may not have been used to hanging around socially. We were there. We saw them. We're here together. That helped. And that's a good thing, that people were able to like break some of the social stigmas between different like races, groups, or different types of people. And that is a thing. So people, even outside of their own situation or whatever situations, right, we have to start seeing each other and communicating to other people outside of our normal demographic.
I want to ask you both this, and this is a yes or no, and we will continue. I promise, if you will allow me to, I want you to come back. We're going to be doing this between now and the last Monday in March, but here's my question to both of you, the yes or no. If given an opportunity to be a voice, to sit as a group of people with the lived experience, to be able to give and bring suggestions and solutions, would you be a part of that group?
Yes.
All right, Ramon, yes or no? Yes or no?
We already just did that.
There you go. There you go, my man. Listen, we're going to have to shut it down tonight. I want to thank Crystal. I want to thank Ramon for being on. This is Wellness Chronicles, conversations exploring injustice, how to ignite sustainable change while embedding wellness in marginalized communities. They're not guests, they're neighbors. They'll be back. I'll make sure of that. I want to also real quickly talk about our warm line, 24/7, free confidential warm line, 833-390-7728. Give that a call. Peer support specialists are on the other end, making sure that, now we're not a crisis line, we're not an advice line, but we're warm ears, people with lived experience ready to help you process through friendship and conversation, to be able to listen to those things that you have to bring to the table and to help us sort of figure our day out and try to wrap it in such a way that the day can end up being better than we started the conversation. It's the warm line. We've been there since pandemic, served a lot of people. And so if you're dealing with some things, then you need somebody to talk to. Warm line, free confidential, 24/7, 833-390-7728. So that's it for tonight. Please share the conversations. Thank those in the chat for coming on. Thank my neighbors for hanging out with us, and we will see you next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Much love to you.